Hey guys, this is Brian Kincher-Buenoto here with Gym for All. Just going to do a quick video about the Acro Blocks. This is a product that I make and sell. We use them a lot in acrobatic gymnastics gyms. This is a really beginner video, just basically what is the block and some basic moves we can use it for. So a quick breakdown of how to use these is that the bottom, the wider part is the base, goes on the floor. These are the tops. This is the part you hold with your hands. You want to make sure that they're always sloping downhill from you. So from the side you can see that this goes out. This makes it a little easier on my wrist. So if you were to use it going uphill, you'd be putting extra strain here, and we don't want that. If you've got the traveling kind, this piece unscrews and the pin comes out so that it can disassemble. But we'll do that in another video. So they're already assembled. If I'm going to first use them, I want to make sure they're the right width for me. So I like to go on my knees like this and just put it right under my shoulders. So for me, maybe right about there. And so I'll just remember that, I have a couple inches in between. If you're smaller, you might be here or wider shouldered than I am. And then you can just remember that in the future. So now that we're all set up here with the blocks, let's go over 3 basic shapes that most people will need to know. The first one is the tuck shape. You can practice this just sitting on the floor and hold your knees close to your chest like this, and notice that my back is round while I do it instead of kind of sticking out. So when I do that on my hands, on the Acro Blocks, I have 2 fingers in the front, thumb is on the inside, 2 fingers on the outside. I'm going to try to lift my knees and make this tuck shape. Depending on how wide your hips are, you can slide this over for now. Just if you were going to do acrobatics and do this on somebody's arms later, we wouldn't want to make them do the arms too wide. So again, here's the tuck shape from the front and also from the side. So this is a good hold. You want to try to be able to hold maybe 10 seconds and make it that nice. In the beginning, you might have your feet a little lower, knees a little lower, and you just want to practice that until you can get it tighter. Okay, second one is the straddle hold. This one is a little bit harder. It takes a little bit of flexibility in your hamstrings to get the shape for the straddle. Again, you can try it sitting first, where you just sit down, make the legs open like that. Of course, we like pointed toes, and just practice reaching forward. So that's a good stretch, any kind of gymnastics or acrobatics activity, you'll see that stretch. When we go back to here, we're going to try to hold them that high on the hands. And it's a little bit tricky. And notice mine is not, super high. You'll see people that have their legs really high. But, I'm still working on it. So the difference for this one is the legs are going outside the hands versus on the tuck, they were inside the hands. For an intermediate or an easier step, we call it the frog. So my knees are still bent, and I can practice holding there with the knees nice and high and arms straight. Then it's a little bit harder to straighten, and back to the frog. So that's the straddle and kind of the frog shape. The last one is the pike. I'll turn a little bit for that. Similar to the tuck, but we're going to try to straighten the legs and hold it like that. So that's tuck, straddle, and pike. Make a goal for holding 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds on each one. And those are 3 basic shapes that most acrobats or gymnasts need to know. And it's good strength and conditioning too to use the Acro Blocks. So let's do a few more things with the blocks today to kind of get you ready to take that next jump in skill level. One of the things that you want to work on is being able to move your body while still holding yourself up on the arms. So a good easy way to work on that would be the tuck to straddle or tuck to frog, and we can do one leg at a time. So I'll start with my tuck. I'm going to let one leg come down and out to the frog. I'm going to try the other one, keeping my arms as straight as possible, and I'm going back in. Cool. So that way, I didn't move my upper body very much at all, and I was just thinking about moving my legs around. I'll show you another way from the side, which is getting you a little bit stronger, maybe ready to start thinking about pressing higher, which is I'll do my tuck. When I move my leg around, I'll try to push my hands down, the back will round, the hips will come up, and then settle back in. I'll do it again. So now I'm in the frog or the straddle. It took a little bit more muscle to get there that way, but eventually you could work the hips higher and higher. Another great thing to work on is getting towards a handstand. A lot of people are intimidated when I say a handstand on here, but the very beginning would just be practicing getting a little bit of hops going, just like this. So I'm not worrying about my legs going high. I just want to make sure that I have a good support here from my shoulder straight down through the wrist into the blocks. So if I don't push out on them or anything weird, they'll stay put. They're plenty stable like that. And I'm just trying to get my bottom, let's say, a little higher than the shoulders for now. And if that's feeling pretty easy for you, maybe you can skip ahead to the next video and we'll talk more about the handstand. The last one is working your way toward the crocodile, which the final skill would look a little bit like this. I find it's most helpful to focus on getting your elbow and hip placement right in the beginning. So I can actually touch my hip bone with my elbow, and that's how I get a lot of support. So to get there, I've kind of drawn an imaginary line in my head where the bases are. And I'm going to take one foot, in this case my right foot, and put it in front of that imaginary line. So I'm kind of diagonal facing this way. Right, then I'm going to bend my arm here, my right arm, to try to find that hip bone. It's not very helpful to try to just, lean forward and lift the legs up if we haven't gotten this spot just right. So play with that a little bit, and maybe just try to pick your feet up without tipping over. So I think this is a great drill getting ready for the crocodile. Legs are still bent. I can still see everything out here. Sometimes we rush into getting the head down. And you can see with the head down like that, I could much more easily topple over or even hurt your wrist a little because you're so bent over. So again, we want to just put that right leg a little in front of that line, bend the elbow, find your hip, and try to support there. If you can hold that for 10 seconds, I think you're on your way toward getting that full crocodile. Okay, that's going to do it for us today with the beginner acro blocks video. If you've just gotten yourself a pair of these, make sure you can do all those things before rushing into other things. If you have any questions about your acro blocks or how to assemble these traveling ones, please let me know. The email is Brian, B-R-I-A-N, @gymforall.com. Thanks for watching and happy handstands.